Hey guys, welcome to the Pilates session. This is a progression on last month's. So first of all, you want to make sure the body's nice and relaxed, so give it a little bit of a shake out. Make sure your shoulders are over your hips, are over your toes. I'm beginning with placing the chin on the chest and we are rolling down. So the way that I do this exercise is that I concentrate on rolling down vertebrae by vertebrae and then all the way back up, and I'm doing it as slowly as I can. Okay, so almost like I'm a puppet and the puppeteer has let the head go first and then the shoulders and then into the back. So again, you can follow me or you can do 10 to 20 reps of this in your own time. I'm also holding my core muscles in nice and tightly here as I go down. And this is really stretching off all the backs of my legs. It's stretching off my spine, so my vertebrae are freeing up, and it's getting me ready for what's ahead. Especially if you're carrying children around, there's a lot of tension that you can get in this within the spine area. I'm going to my last sets now. So the next exercise that I would like you to concentrate on, I would like you to find where your hip bone is, so the hip joint, and place your fingers on there. Now the exercise we did last month where we tilted the pelvis on the floor, this is an extension on that, but now you're going to be stood up. So hands on the hip, and I want you to imagine that the whole pelvic girdle is like a bucket and it's filled with water. So if I tip the bucket forward, I'm going to spill water from the front, and if I tip it back, I'm going to spill water from the back. So we're going to tip the bucket back and we're going to tip it forward. So you can see that the only thing moving on me is the actual hip joint, okay? So I tip forward, tip back, and then I tip forward. So my back's nice and straight. I do have a slight bend in the knee. That just helps me maintain a balance. It helps me stand up straight. It's all about tilting the pelvis. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to twist the bucket round. So on this one, I want to try and keep the water in the bucket, but I want to move it round. So like I'm swilling the water, making a circle. And I'll take it one way, and then I'll take it the next way. Now there is a slight amount of movement in the legs, but it's very contained. And again, with the upper body, it's the whole of the movements coming from the hip. I'm just loosening up the whole of the hip area. Okay. Now what I want you to do with the tilting action, I want you to find where your neutral position is. So you'll tilt it back and tilt it forward and find a compromise in the middle where you won't spill the water. And I want you to remember that neutral position. But for now, we're going to go down onto the floor. I'm going to go onto all fours. I'm going to make sure that my hands are underneath my shoulder blades, that my knees are underneath my hips. And we're going to do the mad cat, happy cat from last month. So pulling the spine up as if there's a piece of string on it. And then I'm arching the back so that my tummy goes towards the floor and my hips and my shoulders come up. And as you go through this exercise, what you'll find is your range of motion becomes greater. So the arch in my back will be better than when I started, because I'm just freeing everything up and my muscles are relaxing around there. Don't forget your breathing techniques, guys. This is about relaxing just as much as exercise. So we want to maintain a nice steady breathing rhythm. You can also include Kegel exercises into this, so as you pull up you could be squeezing them in and releasing on the way down. Okay, I'm now moving on to the next exercise. So I want you to get your body into the shape of a pyramid. So the bum's up nice and high, my arms are nice and straight, my heels are off the floor. And what I'm doing is I am pushing the body forward. Now to do it in the correct position, you need to have your shoulders over your hands, okay? Which really now brings in the chest to play, but it's also really using the core muscles. So my core's nice and tight. And it's really difficult when you're in the plank position when the body's nice and flat, but you can always pull it back up, and that's the rest phase of the exercise. So the better you get at this, the longer you can hold actually being in the plank. Okay, I'm going to move on to the next exercise. So for this, we will be lying on the floor. So again, making sure that your back's nice and flat, that you're pushing the hips and the arch of the back into the floor, that my shoulders are directly over my hips and I'm comfortable. Feet flat on the floor to begin with. Found my hip bone, and this time I'm going to make my legs look like a table. So the shin part of my leg is representing a table. And then I am ready and set to go. So in position. Okay, nice right angle with my legs. And let that leg tap down to the floor. So this is just tapping the toe. It's not supposed to be fast, it's nice and relaxed, and always bringing back to the table. So what you may find here is that when you come back, the shins may dip a bit, so you lose the right angle. So just try and keep remembering to keep them up. As if you've got a bottle of Prosecco on that table, or whatever your tipple is. And the core's working really hard to maintain that posture. Okay, and this time I'm going to raise the bum up so I'm in the bridge position. Except this time we're taking it on a move, and I'm now lifting up one leg only. So on this move, as you can see from my posture, the more you do of it, the lower the bum goes down. So it's really good just to remind yourself to keep that bum up nice and high. And it is a tough exercise, this, because it's working your core, it's working your bum, and it's also working your thighs in there as well. So always reset for the next leg, and then off you go. And as time improves, you'll notice you'll be able to hold it higher for longer. But just take it at your own pace, especially if you've had a cesarean as well. You'll find weaknesses within this area. Okay, relaxing back down for a second. I'm going to move into the next move. Now on this one, you want to be on all fours, so again, hands underneath the shoulders, making sure that your legs are in a right angle. And what you're going to do is you're going to raise the opposite arm to the opposite leg. Now if you look down, my spine's nice and straight, and the arms and legs are just an extension of that. I'm trying to make it as straight as possible. And again, I'm squeezing the ab muscles in nice and tight. You can't really see that from here, but the ab muscles are squeezed in. And I'm remembering to breathe throughout. This is a really good exercise for tightening up the abdominal muscles. You do need to make sure that you've been signed off by the midwife for this one. Okay, into the child pose, just stretching my back, stretching my upper back and into my shoulders. We've done quite a bit of work on them. Try and relax, try and enjoy the stretches as well. Okay. Now what I'm doing is I'm coming back onto my feet first, then I'm raising the hip, and then I'm standing up. Now what this does is it helps me not let the blood pressure lower. So coming from a sitting position, you'll often find that happens, so take it nice and slow. And I'm just going to finish off by going back into rolling down and rolling back up. So the ones that you did at the very beginning of the session. So I'm now putting everything back into alignment, ready for the day. And then remembering to breathe. Hardest bit of the workout is done. Then I'm just going to maintain the pelvic girdle as well. So I'm going to tip it forward and I'm going to tip it back. And then I'm going to find my neutral. So the part where the water wouldn't spill out. So I'm going backwards and forwards until I feel pretty confident of where it is. So there. Once I'm in my neutral position, I'm noticing how my core feels, and that's the position that you really do want to try and hold on to throughout the day to protect the back. Okay, and then just stretching up onto the toes. Workout complete, ladies. Well done.